What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am, and if you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, your roommate will somehow kidnap your dog. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you love your dog, you better press the like button, otherwise it'll be kidnapped. Real talk, though, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be talking about the craziest roommate I ever encountered. It's actually a friend of mine whom I went to college with who had a terrible, terrible roommate that she would tell me about. And yeah, it actually might be the worst roommate to ever exist. Even worse than the story I told a very long time ago about my roommate who, locked our cat in the bathroom. If you haven't seen that story, I'll put it in the pinned comment. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this video about the worst roommate that I've ever seen. So, you know, roommates are supposed to be pretty chill, right? Like, if you're gonna live with somebody, you don't want to hate them. I'm not saying you gotta be best friends. You and your roommate don't have to, swap saliva, you know, or maybe get, DNA samples taken to make sure you're not actually twins. But you don't want to hate your roommate. Hating your roommate just sucks, because then every time you see them or interact with them, it's just like this awkward tension, you know? But most people that I went to college with actually had a roommate that they didn't get along with. I had a crappy roommate, and there was this girl that I had a class with who would tell stories about her roommate that I swore were fake. She would basically tell us that her roommate would walk around and talk to herself when she was asleep. Stuff would go missing from her room and then she would find it in her roommate's room. Just generally super weird stuff, you know? And I definitely didn't buy into all of it. Most of the stuff I was like, okay, she's got to be exaggerating, you know? There's no way that this is real. And as the school year went on, me and the girl who had the crazy roommate started to get closer and become better friends. And so whenever we would talk or hang out, she would keep going on about her crazy roommate. And one day I was like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really believe that your roommate is that insane. There's no way she's as crazy as you said she is, because there's just no way anyone is that crazy. And the girl goes, you know what? How about you come spend the night and see for yourself? Because the main thing that she would tell me about her crazy roommate is that she would act possessed by demons and sleepwalk around their college dorm, right? I'm like, okay, oh yeah, she's possessed by demons. There's no way, you're tripping, there's no way. And I'm like, you know what, fine, I will come spend the night. And the way it worked in our town is you had to sign papers and preemptively say that somebody was going to come spend the night in your dorm. So whatever, we sign the papers, we do the thing, and so that Friday night comes and I'm spending the night there just to see if this girl, in fact, you know, is crazy. And the way these girls' dorms were laid out, there was one living room and then 5 bedrooms around the living room. Does that make sense? So there was actually room to walk around and do things. So me and the girl who I'm friends with, they're just hanging out, you know, watching movies, doing our thing, just being chillaxed, just hanging out up until her roommate goes to bed. Because apparently as soon as she goes to bed, dude, it's like a horror movie and the lights flash and next thing you know, there's a crazy person banging pots and pans together in the kitchen, which I just didn't believe. And so, everything goes quiet, right? Everything goes quiet. And so, you know the old Christmas story? And the creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And then I hear it. I hear, footsteps in the living room. And I'm like, all right, I bet you another one of your roommates is definitely, just in the kitchen making some snacks or whatever. And then I hear it. I hear, growling, okay? But it's not normal growling, which it sounds weird to say. It's not rawr. It's I will eat your soul. I will eat your soul. And I'm like, what is that? So I open the door, and sure enough, the roommate that she said was crazy is standing there with her face against the wall, talking to herself. And I look at her and I'm like, okay, this is a funny prank, but how did you convince her to get on board with it? She goes, no, she does this every night. And then I start listening and paying more attention, and sure enough, the whispering gets a little bit clearer, or growling, not a whisper. You guys get what I'm trying to say. And it goes a little something like, I will eat you. I will eat you. I will eat you. And at this point, I'm pretty convinced that this is all fake, right? I'm like, okay, come on. This is not real. This is too crazy to be real. All this time where she's told me that her, roommate thinks she's a demon and is always whispering stuff to herself while sleepwalking. You're telling me this was real, bruh? This sounds like something straight out of a Goosebumps novel, all right? The R.L. Stein wrote things less creepy than this. So I think it's a joke, so I walk up to the roommate and like spin her around, you know, like I'm like, all right, look at me, like come on, because I feel like if I was trying to be creepy and then the person walked up to me and spun me around, like I wouldn't be able to hold it together. I would start laughing, and I spin her around, bruh, and this girl's eyes are wide open, like, and I can tell by the look in her eyes that there is just no thought going on right now. Like she is straight up sleepwalking with her eyes open, which somehow makes it even creepier, right? And like I don't know how to explain how I knew she was asleep, but like you can just tell when someone's eyes are open, but there's no thoughts going on behind them. And so that freaks me out, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm holding back, trying not to scream to avoid waking up the rest of my friends' roommates, because the last thing I want to explain is why I'm screaming like a girl in the living room of an all-girls dorm at like, 11 at night when everybody else is asleep except for me and my friends. So I turn around and like open my mouth wide as like, I'm screaming, and look at my friend, and she like motions me over, right? And I'm like, oh my god, you're not kidding. Your roommate is actually crazy, sleepwalking around with her eyes open, bro. Like, are you serious? Whispering stuff about how she's gonna eat people? Your roommate is definitely going to like snap one day and eat everybody that lives in this dorm. But my friend goes, oh no, that's just the beginning. She starts by growling, and then soon enough she's gonna start getting weirder. And I'm like, alright, I really don't think it can get weirder than that, right? And then I hear it. So the way the dorms were laid out, like it was a living room and then the rooms were all around it, and you would close your door when you went to bed. And that's when I hear knocking on the doors. Not only is this girl demon growling in the corner, but now she's taken to sleepwalking with her eyes open and knocking on the doors, bruh. And I'm like, well, have you ever answered the door? And she's like, no, I heard her growling like a demon, so I didn't answer. She said one of my roommates answered their door, like one of the other roommates answered when the girl was like going crazy and knocking on the door. And I guess when she opened the door, her eyes were open and she was just like, I'm going to eat you. Like the creepy growling thing, bruh. And I think that would be even more scary. You hear like a demon whispering in your living room, you open your door, this girl's standing there sleepwalking with her eyes open, I'm going to eat you. So at that point, I kind of realized that my friend's roommate is indeed crazy, but whatever. The rest of the night there's knocking, but for the most part, it doesn't get crazier than a girl sleepwalking around whispering to herself like a demon, which saying that out loud sounds really stupid. Well, it doesn't get crazier than a girl thinking she's a demon in her sleep every night with her eyes open. Like that's already pretty crazy, right? So at this point, I believe my friend more about her roommate. So she starts telling me more about the weird stuff that her roommate does, because I guess it's not just the sleepwalking and sleeping time when her roommate is a slight psychopath. So I guess they started noticing really bad smells coming out of her room, right? Like really, really bad smells. And so they eventually were talking to her about it. They're like, look, you need to let us into your room. It smells really bad. It's going through the rest of the house. Like, it's not just your room that stinks, which is fair, you know? I feel like as a person, you deserve to have your room smell bad, but the second your room stench starts leaking into the living room and makes everybody have to smell it, then like, now you're no longer cool with me, okay? You're just annoying now. Nobody wants to be with the roommate that just smells like liquid Gatorade. Like, not that Gatorade even smells bad. Gatorade is liquid. I don't really know what I was going with there, but you guys pick up what I'm putting down. Smelling bad as a roommate is arguably the worst thing that you can do as a roommate, because it's just not chill. So eventually, you know, they're like, hey, you need to clean your room. And she's like, no, I don't need to clean my room. And they're like, listen, you have to clean your room, okay? Like, we're dealing with your demon speak at night. The least you can do is make it so that it doesn't smell like rotting garbage in the middle of our, like, dorm. Let's just not make that happen. And so, eventually she leaves her like, that's it. We're gonna clean her room. If she's not gonna clean her room, if it's gonna smell bad in here, we're gonna clean it. Fine. Like, we will do it. So they go into her room, and when they open the door, they say the door gave some resistance. So they like pushed harder, and the door opens, and the amount of rotten food boxes that came like pouring out of the room is insane. And the worst part is like, okay, a pizza box, right? And you'd open it, and there would be half a pizza in there covered in mold. Nobody knew how long the stuff had been here. Almost every meal she'd eaten since she had gotten to college was inside that room. All the trash from it, sometimes leftovers, and she had just never taken it out. Like, she had never decided that garbage should go out. And how do you live like that? They said it was almost impossible to walk in the room. The only space that was cleared out was that you could get into the chair at the desk and the bed. Everything else was covered in rotten food. And I feel like that's got to be a health hazard, all right? Breathing in moldy food all the time definitely cannot be good for your health. Like, it really just can't be. I'm sorry, breathing in half dilapidated chicken nuggets is not good for you. So they clean her room, and when she comes home and realizes that all of her trash has been taken out of her room, she doesn't go, wow, you guys are so kind for not cleaning that up with hazmat suits. She gets mad and starts trying to fight all of them for getting rid of her trash, right? And so she's like walking around, who threw this away? Who gave you the right to go into my room? They're like, look, we told you that it smelled terrible. And like, I can understand being upset that they went into your room, but if your room is a biohazard and there's like rats living in pizza boxes, bro, your roommates have the right to clean it up. I'm sorry. And she starts trying to fight them. She starts swinging on all of them as like, how dare you? Who do you think you are to go into my room? And everyone's like, what is going on? This lady is crazy. If you're gonna fight me for cleaning up moldy pizza, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, there's nothing else that I can do, right? And after that, after the fight calmed down, she's like, I'm never talking to any of you guys again, and basically lived in her room without trash in it and never spoke to any of them again. So moral of the story is, if your roommate walks around with their eyes open sleep talking to themselves about how they're going to eat you, they're probably living with a mound of moldy garbage in their room, and if you take it out, they will try to fight you and then never talk to you again. And if you don't want that to happen, then something you should do is head over to gfuel.com and buy some G Fuel using code Scrubby, because it's 30% off for the next couple days, and I would really appreciate the support. Today's notification shout out goes to Nolan86. Big thank you for having on notifications. And as for yesterday's little giveaway thing, you guys had funny jokes, but you forgot to leave your Instagram @ so I literally could not contact the first 3 people with the top voted comments. 4th place did have their @ though. I've responded to him, and the G Fuel is on its way, so thank you for that. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'm out. Peace.